Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is a double up game that I am playing together with Cymbal, and in this game we're going to be looking at a Misfortune team composition that also features the Jazz trait. Yes, here in Set 10 everything is music based, and this is emerged early on. This is the release version of Set 10. This has emerged early on as one of the most popular and strongest team compositions, is playing through Misfortune. She's definitely overtuned in this patch. All right, so we have a chance to get our initial portal here. I am standing on the triple champion start because I really don't want any prismatic portals if I can avoid it. Double component carousel is okay with me, but I'm just opting for the triple champion start. And as it turns out, we are in fact going to get the triple champion start, even though it wasn't picked by me. One of the other people chose that, so I was quite happy that we would end up with that. Now, out of the individual units here, none of the ones that have shown up are ones that I particularly want all that badly, although Kennen is actually a very strong unit, so I guess it's not bad to have that. But mostly I'm just going to see what pops up and go from there. As I said, Misfortune's been a really popular unit, and overall, since the set came out, at least here in the early going, the metagame has really been dominated by reroll compositions, and in particular, a lot of rerolling for 2-cost and 3-cost units. It's been very popular to reroll for country units, Samira, Urgot, and also if you can hit the headliner for it, the Katarina is also pretty strong. But if you don't hit a Katarina headliner, it's usually not worthwhile to play that unit. And then people also playing Misfortune, who's a 3-cost, and then also playing around some of the frontliners that are 3-cost. People in Pentakill rerolling for Mordekaiser 3-star, people rerolling for like a, not Lilia, a Nico 3-star if you're playing KDA, that sort of thing. So a whole lot of that. Now, I initially thought that maybe I would play through this Lux. I did get a Lux early on, so I thought maybe I would look to play through that. But then I look at these items, and you can see I have a sword, a bow, and a glove. These are all AD items. They really are not items that you would want for a magic casting composition. I mean, you could do Giant Slayer and then maybe find a rod to make a jeweled gauntlet, but still, these are AD items, and so that was like, I got the Lux, but the items are really not leading me in that direction. I'm also not getting any champions that really go in that direction either. I also have not picked up a headliner either, which is unusual. I really didn't like any of them. So here I'm looking at the different options. I was like, I don't love Heroic Grab Bag. I think it's okay. If you take this, you're basically locking yourself into rerolling for something. I was like, it's not Submit to the Pit. I'm not playing Moshers here. I was like, what are other people playing? I was trying to see, but I was like, ultimately, I was like, okay, I guess I'll go ahead and take that and look to play through something here. So I get double champion duplicators. And by the way, champion duplicators are much, much more rare here in this set as opposed to earlier sets. But then I get this Bard, and I decide, okay, I'll go ahead and play the Bard. And the goal was I was going to look to go ahead and try to play into Misfortune was kind of the goal. I also have a random 2-star Olaf, which I do end up selling. And I still haven't found a headliner that I like so far yet. I don't want this Annie. So this is really rare for me, not picking up a headliner. And in fact, not something that I would recommend at all. You really, really need to pick up a headliner on the first couple rounds. You can dump them pretty quickly if you don't like the one that you have. But like not picking up a headliner at all by the time that you go into the first PvP round, that is really not a good idea. I just didn't really like anything that I had gotten thus far. Like this Emo Annie would be great if I was going to play into a spellcasting team competition, but I cannot really do that again with the items. Fortunately, this is very early in the set. We're early on in Double Up, right at the beginning of the season on Double Up. The matchmaking all resets as far as Double Up matchmaking goes. So a lot of these early games that we do for Double Up are not especially challenging, and this lobby would end up not being all that great. Okay, so I end up seeing a Taric with Guardian, and I'm very happy to take that and play through that. So now instantly my front line goes to very beefy status. I'd love to get one more Guardian to play 4 Guardian here, and I can definitely transition out of this Taric. I'm just going to run in for the early game, but with 2-star Taric, 2-star Kennen, I have great frontline. Too bad I have no frontline items. I actually kind of wish I had frontline items, but I don't. They're all AD, and so I'm continuing to look around here at these other players, looking around here. I'm trying to see what other people are playing. I was actually thinking of going into a disco setup, But then I see this other person already has a disco augment. They have double the funk, which is a very good augment if you're going to play into disco. It increases the benefit, and the disco ball range goes out to 2 tiles instead of just the default one. So as soon as I see that, I'm like, all right, this person's locked themselves into disco. So maybe I won't end up playing disco in this game. Maybe I won't end up playing the Lux. And so that was kind of my first indication that I would not be heading in that particular direction. Anyway, I get reinforced on in this board, and it's pretty ugly. That's like 9 units all beating on Lux at the end of the round there. So I'm still trying to figure out direction of my board. I had gotten the initial Bard from Cymbal because I was thinking I would play into Dazzler, but now I was like, these are really good MF items. Maybe I can just play into Misfortune instead. I believe that Cymbal had found a Misfortune, and so he was planning on using his next send to get me a Misfortune, and then my board can really start to take off from there. So anyway, that was the thinking as far as this goes. So for right now, I still have not. This is like the noob start here. I didn't take a headliner, and I have not used any of my items. I've had all 3 of my items sitting on the bench the whole time. And my augment choice gave me 2 champion duplicators, the lesser version, but still 2 champion duplicators. 2 champion duplicators that I haven't used. So basically, I didn't have a headliner for the first couple rounds. I've used no items, and my augment is doing nothing for me because I'm saving it for later. So as I said, this is like the total noob opener here. Anyway, though, so I'm up against a punk board here, and unsurprisingly, I'm going to lose because, as already mentioned, I have no items committed. And yeah, this is not what you're looking for this kind of setup. All right, well, it's time to go to the item care. So there's no spatulas here, which is a bit disappointing. Otherwise, Cymbal might have a chance to get that. But he does have his pick of anything he wants. And so he's going to get that Nika with a belt. That looks like a pretty good choice. I could try to get some more frontline here. But ultimately, I decide I'm going to take the rod. And at this point, I am now committed to I'm going to play Misfortune. Again, I have not seen a Misfortune in my shop, but I know that Cymbal has one, so he'll be able to send it to me in like 2 or 3 more rounds. And I already know that I'm going to be going into that, so I'm going to make a Rage Blade here, and then I'm going to make Infinity Edge because these are core items on Misfortune. I also would like to pick up a Big Shot unit because you can see there. Does he have a? Yeah, he has an MF on his board. I was looking on the bench, but he actually has one on his board itself because he's actually playing it for damage at the moment. And so now that I know these items are going to go on Misfortune, I might as well make these items. So, okay, Lux, here's Infinity Edge Rageblade Lux holding these items for an AD champ. It does allow her ult to crit, though, because either Jeweled Gauntlet or Infinity Edge will allow the ability to crit. So that's actually kind of amusing. She's going to get this crit ability off the Infinity Edge. In a pinch, you can do that. Normally, you would not slam this on a Lux, though, obviously. So if you watch, she's going to get her ult off, and it actually does crit, which is, again, pretty funny. But even just doing this, even just putting the Rageblade Infinity Edge on Lux, it actually does make my board a lot stronger. Items are really important in this game, and that's why you just don't want to sit there with all these items on your bench doing nothing. Look how much stronger my board got just by doing that, because I already had the tanky front line, but I didn't have anything behind it. So this actually, as I said, does help quite a bit. Alrighty, so I get the send back. I can now send something over to Cymbal. He is putting together a Sentinel board here in the early game, and then he's going to figure out where to go from there. This often works pretty well in the early game here in Set 10. Yeah, he has 4 Sentinel in right now. This tends to work reasonably well in the early game. Is if you can just get if you get like a headliner that has a tank trait, you can just build out its tanky front line, and then it's just kind of like play whatever behind that. I've actually had a lot of success doing that. I actually think that having 2-star front line is much more important than 2-star carries in the early game. General rule, you can put a lot of caveats on that, but I do think that 2-star frontline tends to be more important in the early game, and then maybe it flips a little bit in the late game once everybody has like 3 items on all their carries. Anyway, though, so we're up against another Punk board. It looks like multiple people are playing Punk in this lobby. That's great. And as it turns out, no one's playing Misfortune in this lobby, which is really nice. All right, so the Bard actually took out the Jinx over there, and now it's Twitch versus Lux. Lux actually wins that fight, so I did win the last 2 rounds after I slammed those items, and that's despite me not leveling to level 5. Of course, the people I hit were also level 4, but whatever. All right, so now I'm going to get that Misfortune coming over from Cymbal, and now my board is starting to take place. I actually get the chance to play another unit. I don't really have a good unit to play, so I think I just end up putting Echo on the board because why not? He will give true damage trait for Kennen, but that's not going to do that much for either of them. They're both tank units, so the true damage, means that they do a certain percentage of their damage gets converted over to true damage, which is not resisted by armor or MR. That's not going to do a whole lot if you're just playing 2 tanky units there. Now I also get a rod. If I known I was going to get a rod drop, I wouldn't have taken a rod off that carousel, but of course I couldn't have known that ahead of time. And so now I just want to find another big shot. What I really want is like another Guardian, so I can get up to 4 Guardian. And a big shot unit so I can play through Miss Fortune's big shot trait. All right, so I've got the double champion duplicators. There's another MF. I actually could duplicate the Miss Fortune right now, but there's a Pantheon, so I can happily play the Pantheon to get 4 Guardians in. We'll just do that. There we go. Guardian is an early game frontline tank trait. Provides shielding when the units take damage, so I'm very happy to do that. And then we can slam this Giant's Belt on the Tark. There is actually a case to put it on the Kennen, because then Kennen would get his bling bonus for true damage, as he actually stuns I think he gets stuns an additional target. So there was a case to put it on Tark, or put it on Kennen, but Tark is the headliner, so I'm going to put my tank items on him because I know he's going to be sold later on, and he'll just hold these for the early game. Okay, so Miss Fortune, let's go ahead and cover her. So her traits are Jazz and Big Shot. Jazz and Big Shot. Her official ability is called Double Time. Deal physical damage to the current target and physical damage to the closest enemy behind them. If either dies, gain attack speed for 4 seconds. And her headliner effect is plus 25% AD. So again, this is one of her abilities from Standard League of Legends. I cannot remember. I think it's her Q, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a long time since I played Standard League of Legends. But it's the ability whereby she shoots a target and then the bullet ricochets beyond the initial target to hit another target behind her. We'll get back to this in a second. So the second augment is Prismatic. I was like, I don't like Prismatic. I don't like Prismatic augments. Too much power in these augments. So this is actually a really important choice. What I get here is super important. It's definitely not Unleashed Arcana. This is an AD comp. I did think about Determined Investors. First time you have 40 gold at the end of combat, gain Diamond Hands. So I could have that right away. But then I was like, no, you know what? This is going to be a physical damage comp with MF. She's going to have a lot of attack speed, a lot of damage. Let's take Harm Assist, because she's going to make really good use of Harm Assist. It's like you gain 25% Omnivamp. That means as you deal damage, you heal at the same time. And then if you have excess of that, it converts it over into additional damage. All right, we're going to go ahead and level and play another unit just because I'm not on a particular win streak, but 3-2 is the standard leveling timing. I'm hoping that I will be able to find another Miss Fortune to get up to MF 2-star. And I'm actually on 3 pairs here. Miss Fortune pair, Bard pair, Echo pair. So hitting any of these would actually be a pretty big difference. But anyway, though, the Harm Assist, though, I think is a better fit for this board. We're going to be playing through Miss Fortune. She deals a lot of damage. This means I will not have to itemize any healing on her. I can just go 100% damage, and she'll get inbuilt healing from her augments. And this is going to apply to any other carries I might be playing as well. So this is going to be pretty effective. So, like, she took some little chip damage in this fight, but, like, she's already healed back up to full HP. And now she's going to be up against this country board. She's up against the Samira, and she ends up winning the Samira duel right before Cymbal could come in and join me on the board. Now, as far as the prismatic augments go, Cymbal actually did take an... Oh, and by the way, there's MF 2-star, and that's actually quite big. Because now, with the double champion duplicators, I only need 4 more Miss Fortunes to hit MF 3-star. Anyway, though, for the prismatic, there was an augment called Wellness Fund, and it heals you for... What it does is you heal for 2 HP as long as you have 40 gold or more in the bank. Let me get the exact description of this one, because it actually ended up being pretty important in this game. Wellness Fund. Here we go. Round start, gain 3 gold. If you have at least 40 gold, heal 2 player health. This is really unbalanced for double up, because not only do you get 3 gold at the start of every round, if you have at least 40 gold in the bank, you heal 2 player health. Well, guess what? They didn't adjust this for double up mode, at least as of when we played this game. Maybe they'll have this fixed by the time this goes on YouTube. You both heal for 2 player health. Yeah, remember, you have a shared life bar in double up mode, so you're effectively healing for 4 health each round, because all damage is normally cut in half because it's a shared life bar. But no, you don't heal for 2 HP. Normally, you would think that you would just each heal for 1 HP, right? No, you both heal for 2 HP. Yeah, and I actually had that same augment offered to me as well. So we could effectively, if I had taken that, we both would have been healing for 4 HP every single round, which is just absolutely insane. It pretty much guarantees a top 2 finish. You can just lost streak all the way to level 9 or level 10. Just completely crazy. So we did not do that. We actually did not know that until Cymbal took this, but until this gets patched, this is utterly broken for double up mode. So hopefully they'll patch this and just cut the benefit in half. But yeah, Wellness Fund, if you see this and you're playing double up mode, It's completely crazy. All right, anyways, that was a good carousel. I was able to get a Giant's Belt that's going to let me make Warmogs, and it was also on an Echo, so I actually have Echo 2-star here as well. I was also able to find an Ari, which is the unit that Cymbal is looking for. So Cymbal actually has 2 out of 3 Aris right now, so when I can send in this Ari, which will be on stage 4-1, he will immediately go to 2-star Ari on stage 4-1. Also, in addition to this, we have one of the gift rounds that you always get in double up mode, and I'm able to get a spatula. It's kind of interesting because spatulas and emblems are very, very rare in the normal game mode, but they're pretty common in double up because you can send spatulas or send Tome of Traits to your partner. I wonder if they're ever going to adjust that. But in any case, Cymbal is working on itemizing Ari. As I said, he has 2 out of 3 Aris already, and I've got another one on my bench, so he's going to have 2-star Ari as soon as we can send that unit, which is going to be at the start of 4-1. So we're high rolling a bit in this lobby, and this lobby is also not the strongest lobby that we've seen. So we're not having too much trouble thus far. And he's also going to help me try to get towards Misfortune 3-star. So that's kind of our goal right now is make Ari 2-star for him. He's playing into KDA. And then hopefully I can use this spatula to make a Jazz spatula, which is going to be really strong. All right, gift round going over to Cymbal. Let's see what I have to offer to him. By the way, so far, that early game was a little bit shaky, but like we're actually healing off the Wellness Fund. I'm going to have not as good options to send over to him, and I believe Cymbal ends up taking the component animal. He also just made Lily a 3-star, so he's going to be playing towards a KDA board. That's kind of his goal there. I have 2-starred. I've actually been hitting, look at all these 2-stars. All of my frontliners are 2-starred, and then MF is 2-starred. Every single unit except the Bard is 2-starred. That's pretty good for this stage of the game. Now, if I could just find a big shot unit to pair with Misfortune. As I said, her traits are Jazz and Big Shot. So the Big Shot trait is the less interesting of the two. It's basically just an attack damage amp. Big Shots gain attack damage, which increases for 3 seconds when they use their ability. Big Shot 2 is you gain 10% attack damage, and it's a 40% boost after using your ability for the next 3 seconds. Not bad, but not amazing. Not amazing. It's good on champs that have lower mana costs. And Misfortune's mana is relatively low. She actually casts pretty frequently. Her ability is only 60 mana on double time. So when she stacks up the Rage Blade, she fires pretty quickly. So she'll be able to keep the double up bonus up for quite a while. Anyway, she is in a duel here with the Jinx. The Jinx goes ahead, kills the Bard. This is super close, but look at that. Gonna win that fight on, I don't know, like 50 HP. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff right there. And that's actually really important because it allows my win streak to continue instead of ending there. So that's actually worth a lot of gold as this carries into the minion round. Misfortune's other trait is Jazz, and this is the more interesting of the two traits. This is a really cool trait. It's basically Stand United Augment from earlier sets in a slightly modified form. Jazz trait is for each active trait, not counting unique traits, your team gains bonus health and deals bonus damage. So right now at Jazz 2, it's 2% health and 1% damage per trait that you have in. So additional damage and additional health. So I do not actually, and it is makeable. The recipe is spatula plus cloak, and it is a makeable emblem. So I don't have that option here, but I will continue looking for a cloak so that I can get that in. Unfortunately, now I'm trying to find another unit to play. I really don't have a unit to play. I'm like looking at all these different options. It's like, no, no, no. I will send the Ari over to Cymbal for Ari2. And probably the best unit I can play is just that Amumu, because Amumu gets the Guardian benefit. I mean, I guess I could put Bruiser trait in, but no, I only have the only Bruiser in it is the set, so that wouldn't work. So I think it is probably the Amumu. I was looking for a big shot unit, but I continue to not find a big shot unit to pair with Misfortune. And as I said, I did not get the cloak that I was looking for there to make a Jazz spatula either. Now, here's the good news. I ended up getting a bow and a glove, which perfectly mates a Last Whisper. And these are basically perfect items for Misfortune. Infinity Edge allows her damage to crit. Last Whisper armor shreds, gives her more crit chance. Rage Blade allows her to stack up attack speed. The only other thing you would want to itemize is healing. But again, I get healing from my augment. I have Harm Assist, Prismatic Harm Assist. So that's basically like she has a Bloodthirster on her as well. Anyway, our last augment is going to be silver, so this is not going to have as much power in it. Definitely not Recombobulator. I'm pretty happy with what I have. United Resistance is okay. Cybernetic Uplink. I'll just take Cybernetic Bulk. I think that's a little bit better here. And I do end up hitting the 2-star Bard, so that's nice. Bard is going to stay on this board to give me Jazz trait. Right now I only have 3 traits in, so it's not providing that much benefit. So right now it's giving me 6% additional health. Yeah, 6% additional health and 3% additional damage. Not all that much at the moment, but I do plan on playing into additional traits as the game goes on. Over there, by the way, you see Cymbal's board right here: 5 Sentinel, 3 KDA, 2-star RA. He needs to get some more. He needs to get at least 1 or 2 more Spellweavers in there, and probably drop down to 4 Sentinel. He definitely does not need 5 Sentinel on his board. But both of us are just basically power leveling here. Like, neither of us have rolled at all. We're just leveling, and I'm going to play very greedy here and just try to get up to higher levels as soon as possible. I don't want to roll until I get up to level 8, if at all possible, because on level 8 I have a chance to get 4-cost headliners. You can't get them on level 7. Normally, if you're trying to 3-star Misfortune, you would look to roll on level 7. But I'm going to be greedy and go to level 8. And again, that's because no one in the lobby is playing Misfortune. I'm not being contested. And I think with my whole board being 2-starred, like literally every unit's 2-starred except that Amumu, I think I'm pretty comfortable in a pretty comfortable position here just to push levels. Now, if I could just get a big shot unit, I still can't find a big shot unit. They're not that rare. It shouldn't be that hard to find these things. But yeah, I'm just going to continue looking to level here. I believe I'm just going to continue econing, and yeah, we're just building out that board. I'm going to, on level 8, I'll sell the Tarek and look to find a real frontliner. Tarek's been good for the early game. I can't complain. But he is a 1-cost unit, and it's going to be time to move out of him. Most ideal would be finding a Misfortune headliner. If I could find a Misfortune headliner, that would take me to 6 MF, so I just have to find 1 more, and then I could double champion duplicate. Plus, Cymbal's been stacking up some Misfortunes as well, so we are actually getting pretty close to the Misfortune. It might not look like it because I only have 3 of them here, but I have the double champion duplicators plus Cymbal's. I believe he has 1 or 2 of them as well. So this is another fight against one of these punk boards. This person's hit the Jinx 3-star. Fortunately, Jinx is still shooting at my tanks, while Misfortune walks over and kills her. And so we're going to get another win. And that person's level 610 gold, so they are effectively broke. And yeah, they're not going to be getting too much stronger there. I also should mention our health continues to go up from the Wellness Trust augment that Cymbal has. We were down at like 75 health earlier. We're at 8. We're back to 89 health. So we're actually going in the opposite direction in this lobby, which is really hilarious. We're literally increasing our health round by round as the rest of the lobby slowly bleeds out that health. Pretty funny stuff. Anyway, so there's still an Alawi here. I would very happily take that, but it does finally get snapped up. And out of these remaining options, there's not that much that I want, so I was like, okay, we'll just take this tier and figure something out with this. Don't know quite what I'm going to do with this, but I'll get something. I guess in a pinch I could make an emo emblem or something. But anyway, let's go to level 8, and let's see what we can find. Tarek, again, you've been great thus far, but we want to get a real headliner. I was like, oh, okay, TF, okay. Disco TF, not quite what I'm looking for, but we can grab this Gragas, and we can put Disco trait in play, and we'll just play this as a transition unit. And as soon as I see this, I was like, all right, I do have some AP items. We'll put this on, we'll put the AP items on, what's his name, on the Twisted Fate. And yeah, I'm in kind of an awkward spot because I'm 3 Guardian at the moment. I actually need to get one of these Guardians out. I should try to get one of these Guardians out and put probably Kennen, and then put in the set so I can get Bruiser trait in play. But we're just going to play this TF as a transition unit, and then we're going to go to 9 and find another headliner. And this is one of the things that definitely requires more skill. It's not the easiest thing to do, but like, you don't have to stick with these headliners for the whole game. You can just play them as transitions. So I'm very happy to just play this TF, who's a good unit, and just play him as a transition unit. All right, Cymbal does actually end up losing that round. I was not able to reinforce him fast enough. But my win streak still continues. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to level 9 now. By the way, I still do not have a big shot unit in for I still do not have a big shot unit in for Misfortune, which is pretty wild that I don't have that yet. Yeah, I'm trying to figure things out, but I actually need another Bruiser in my comp, not another Guardian unit at the moment. I'm trying to figure this out. It's like, no, that's still 3 Guardian. One of the Guardians needs to come out. I think I eventually realized that it's Kennen who needs to come out of here, but still trying to figure this out at the moment. And I'll just go ahead and make AP items and put them on TF, and then maybe that can go to, I don't know, like a Ziggs later on, or a Sono later on would be decent as well. So we'll figure it out, and MF's just going to continue carrying us for the immediate future. Now, this board probably should not be strong enough to still be win streaking. Let's be honest. This board is solid, but it's not especially great. I really should not be on an 8-match winning streak with this. But as I said, this lobby not as strong as maybe some other ones, and Cymbal's been able to come in and help me out in some of these rounds as well. But yeah, so but he's on 2 out of 3 misfortunes. Yeah, so he's almost got the 3-star MF over, or the 2-star MF to send me. But yeah, I'm just gonna start leveling. We're just gonna push 9, and then on 9 we're gonna find a new headliner, sell the TF, find a new headliner, and go from there. This is very greedy. I generally would not recommend doing this. I would normally recommend rolling on 8, but you know, I'm on a 9-match win streak. We have 92 health. We can afford to trade some health for some econ here, and so we're going to play the greedy route and continue working in that direction. I am up to 5 traits, so that is giving me an additional Jazz benefit. Now, if I can get a cloak here, there we go. That's what I wanted. I wanted that cloak. That's going to get me up to Jazz 3, and if I can find Lucian, that'll be Jazz 4. Lucian's the other Jazz unit. All right, there's a misfortune for me. That's pretty nice. So now I want to go ahead and make some of these items. I'm going to put the Lulu in, which is an interesting unit to play in, but Lulu actually does make a lot of sense here. She is going to give me the Hyperpop trait, and she actually also puts Spellweaver trait in it as well, which is kind of funny, but I actually do get Spellweaver in for the moment. Now I'm just going to look to do a little itemizing of some tank stuff. And let's go ahead and see what else we can make here. So we have some AP items. We can go ahead and look to make that on TF. I wouldn't say Death Cap is his best item, but it's not a bad item on him. So now we're up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're up to 7 traits right now. Jazz does not count unique traits. So something like, say, Akali has Breakout trait, which is she's either true damage or KDA, depending on what you're playing on the board. It doesn't count unique traits, but anything that's not a unique trait does count towards the Jazz. So we have 7 traits in right now for Jazz. And at Jazz 3, that is 3% health, 2% damage per trait. So that's 21% health, 14% damage. That's a lot. That's a lot. 21% extra health, 14% additional damage. That's on every single unit. Not bad. There's also a Disco Blitz in the store, which would not be bad either. That would not be bad either. Anyway, here there's a Tome of Traits. I was looking to get something. Cymbal also sends the 2-star Misfortune. I was hoping to get maybe Jazz here. I don't get that. I also thought about taking the Big Shot emblem, but I was like, no, that's silly. I don't need to take a Big Shot emblem. I'm going to find a Big Shot unit at some point. Hopefully we can find Jin. So I'm just going to take this and you make Sentinel emblem. And then I'm going to use my champion duplicators, and boom, there's MF 3-star. Now, you might want to make the claim, well, why don't you save them for like a 5-cost unit? They are lesser champion duplicators, so they can only be used on 1, 2, or 3-cost units. So it makes perfect sense to use this on the MF because, like, what other 3-cost units am I going to be trying to 3-star? Probably nothing. Anyway, Gragas is holding my tank items at the moment, which is pretty hilarious because he's a 1-star unit. But he's holding them because I know he's going to come out of this composition. He's just in there to enable Disco trait for me. So he's going to come out of this comp later on, and yeah, we'll go from there. But now that I have 3-star Misfortune, she's pretty cranked at this point in time. There's 3-star Misfortune with Infinity Edge, with Last Whisper, and with the Rage Blade. And on top of that, she has Prismatic Harm Assist to heal her for the damage she's taking. Oh, and by the way, she also has 3 Jazz in as well, with 7 traits to boost her that much. Wait, do I have 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I actually have 8 traits in right now. 8 traits, Jesus Christ. And then there's finally a Big Shot unit. So there's Kaisa. I can finally get Big Shot in play. I was like, what unit do I take out here? I was like, no, you know what? We're gonna find either Ezreal or we're gonna find Jin. And we'll play one of them for Big Shot. They're just much better units. We'll find one of those and go from there. I should be able to get to level 9 pretty soon. My plan was to go level 9 after this carousel. And oh, by the way, Cymbal just hit 3-star Mordekaiser. Yeah, I did not send him any Mordekaisers, but he still managed to hit it himself. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty good stuff right there. So his board is pretty strong too. But in any case, yeah, we're actually, if we win this round, both of us, we're actually back to 100 HP, which is pretty wild since we were down quite a bit lower than that earlier. Anyway, so Misfortune is hanging in there together with TF. I am going to get some assistance from Cymbal. Great ult from TF. He did a ton of damage. And that together with the Misfortune works. Like, look at this TF. He did 6,000 damage. I'm just playing him as a transition unit. And yet he's still been great in this comp. So I'm trying to emphasize in this video the importance of being able to flex around these units. It really does help a tremendous amount if you can do that. There's Lucian. I would have happily taken the Lucian. That would have given me Jazz 4. I would have loved to have played him. He even came with a Thief's Glove, so that would have been a great item to have as well. In any case, though, I am last pick here. That's not a surprise, so I'm going to have to figure out something. And I don't really like any of these, so I'll just take the Sona. Sona with a Last Whisper. I don't really have a Last Whisper user on this board. Maybe if I can find a Jin or an Ezreal. Of course, I already have a Last Whisper, so it's less valuable. But all right, we're going to move out of the TF. We're going to go to level 9. Now at level 9, we have a chance to find 5-cost headliners, so that's really good. It's only 10% odds, but we do have the chance to find them. The Thresh, if that was Guardian Thresh, I would have taken that. So far, I'm not seeing anything I want, but then, oh, hello. Hello. That's a Ziggs headliner. That will perfectly replace the Twisted Fate. So I don't need the TF anymore. And there's an Ezreal, so we want to get Ez on the board for big shot. So I do need to reconfigure this a bit. I need to move out of the Gragas. I want to move my tank items to like a real tank instead. But this is looking pretty good here. We're able to get the Ziggs. And the 2-star Ziggs headliner is going to be really nice. We also have the Dazzler trait. I actually have an excess of Dazzler right now. I have 3 Dazzler. I would be happier just to go down to 2 Dazzler here. So if I can find a Lucian, then I'd be able to take out the Bard. And that would Bard is Dazzler plus Jazz. So I'm reconfiguring my board here. But now that I'm level 9, I'm going to have good odds to hit all the 5-cost units. And yeah, look at Misfortune with the Harm Assist just carrying this fight here. So that's going to knock that team down to 1 HP. And yes, we are indeed back up to 100 health. All right, let's get the Ezreal on the board. Kennen, you've been great, but I think your time has come. You need to get off this board. So Ezreal's going to go in. We no longer need to group up around the disco balls, so we can get some of these other units in. I'm going to try, and remember, I want to try to get as many traits in as possible on this board. So we're going to continue rolling. We're basically just upgrading to better units, and then I see Jin, so I'll get Ezreal off the board and play Jin instead. So let's do that. And again, now we need to reconfigure our tanks. So what do we have right now? We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 traits, but I do have a Sentinel emblem, so I'll be able to get Sentinel in as soon as I put that on someone. Out of these units, I think I end up putting the traits, the tank items on Zach, who's a perfectly fine user of these. We actually do not have Bruiser trait in on the board right now, and I'm going to have to look to do that. I also still have a Pantheon on the board as well, who's an early game tank. Anyway, my whole team's dead. It's now just up to MF, but she's got that prismatic Harm Assist, and look how much she was healing there. Boom, MF just 1v4s at the end of the fight, and she does like 15,000 damage. Something insane. By the way, there's Big Shot Ezreal, but I am much happier with the Ziggs headliner. Ziggs is perfect because I've got these AP items that no one else can really use. All right, so yeah, we're going to go over there. And by the way, Hyper Pop 2 is tremendously good for the late game. Hyper Pop only has 2 units. It just has Ziggs and Lulu, but it's a really, really useful utility trait. When Hyper Pop champions use an ability, they grant mana and 4 seconds attack speed to their 2 closest allies. So I just make sure to put Lulu next to and Ziggs next to MF. And they're going to grant 5 mana and 20% attack speed for 4 seconds to the next closest unit, which is going to be MF. So actually, I guess I have Ziggs next to the Jin, which is not quite right. All right, so we want to get one of these units off the board. I'm going to reconfigure here slightly. We're going to get Bruiser trait in play. And what else are we going to get? There's Yorick. I was hoping I'd find Yorick. There we go. Now we have Bruiser and Sentinel in as well. I think it was Guardian trait that I decided to move out of for this game. And we can move out of the Bard, even though this maintains 3 Jazz. And we go, by the way, I should have played Alawi, I think, over. I could have played Alawi over the Set, but Set does give me Mosher trait with, who else has Mosher trait on this board? I'm trying to remember who else has that. Wow, who else does have Mosher trait? Oh, it's the Yorick and the Set have Mosher trait. So I could play Alawi, but then I'd lose Mosher trait. And with Jazz, getting the Jazz bonus, I don't think that that's necessarily worth it, even though Alawi's a really good unit. But anyway, we're able to make 2-star Jin. Jin is getting some pretty good items right now. We've got the 3-star Misfortune. We've got Cymbal's board, which is looking pretty amazing over there as well. Yeah, we're actually really close to 3-star Ari, by the way. We were trying to make 3-star Ari in this game. There we go. I'm just trying to finish itemizing my tank line. My tank line's a little shakier than normal in this game. Oh, and by the way, I could look to replace the Echo with Blitzcrank, and that would be better. Echo's only giving me Sentinel trait, nothing else. So we could make that replacement, but I think I'd want to be 2-star on the on the Blitz before I do that. Okay, there we go. I did end up making that change over there. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did lose a trait for that, so I don't know if that was quite worth it with Jazz. Maybe it would have been better to wait until Alawi was 2-starred for that. But anyway, I mean, I've got the 3-star Misfortune. I have 3 Jazz in. I have 2 Hyper Pop in. I have 2-star Ziggs. I have 2-star Jin. I've got a 2-star Zac with Sentinel trait who has Warmogs plus the Sunfire Cape. I mean, I'm looking really strong here. This person over here is actually quite strong too. This is the strongest of our competitors by a wide margin. They have a country board with Samira, so it looks like it's going to be down to MF versus Samira. Can she win the fight? And that stun, oh, that stun almost got MF, but nope. She does 17,000 damage and wins the fight. It didn't matter. Cymbal had already won the other round. Cymbal had already beaten their partner and knocked them out of the game. But it's nice to end with a win regardless. So we end up winning the lobby on 100 health. And I think I finished on like a 12 or 13 match winning streak, something crazy. Basically, as soon as I 2-starred Misfortune, I don't think I lost a round the rest of the game. But anyway, yeah, so this video shows a couple things. One, Misfortune is definitely overtuned. She was win streaking even with no big shot trade in, which was kind of funny. But also the importance of just transitioning. Like, I was not playing a big shot headliner or anything like that. I was just playing the headliners I got. And like, I ran that Twisted Fate as a transition unit. It was Tarek into Twisted Fate into Ziggs. Just like play around what you hit and be flexible. That's really the key to this set, and it definitely worked out in this game. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, hope everybody's having a great week. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.